Today, we are diving into a really powerful book by Ryan Holiday called Ego is the Enemy. And the main idea is actually pretty simple, but it is profound. It's that our biggest, most persistent obstacles in life, they aren't out there, they're not external. They're actually something that lives deep inside every single one of us.
So, let me just ask you straight up, what do you think is your worst enemy? You know, when you hit a wall, or you have a setback, or you fail at something, what's really holding you back? Is it your job, your competition, some kind of bad luck?
Well, according to Holiday, the real answer is a lot closer than you think. It's not out there. It's in here. It's your ego. And really getting a handle on that one single idea is the key to unlocking so much of your own potential.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's meet this enemy face to face. And to really understand what we're talking about, we're going to start with the author's own story. It's just a perfect example of the kind of lie that our ego helps us tell ourselves. So you look at the left column, right? Ryan Holiday's early career looks like this amazing success story. Youngest executive, best-selling author, wow. But here's the kicker, and what's so fascinating about this. Behind that amazing story he was telling himself and the world was a completely different reality. A reality of crushing stress, of public humiliation, and of real personal turmoil. All that success was basically powered by ego, and it put him on this treadmill of pain and frustration.
So when we say ego, what are we even talking about? It's really important to get this right. We're not talking about being some kind of clinical egomaniac. Holiday defines it as something way more subtle. It's an unhealthy belief in our own importance. Think of it like this. It's that little bratty child inside all of us that's always screaming that it needs to be better than everyone else, have more than everyone else, and get recognized for it, way beyond what's actually useful or helpful.
Now here's the thing. Ego is your enemy at every stage of your life, but it is especially dangerous right at the beginning, what Holiday calls the aspiration phase. This is that tricky time when our ambition is sky high, but, our actual experience is pretty low. And that creates this huge, dangerous gap where ego can just run wild. To see how you can navigate this trap, let's look at a totally fascinating and kind of weird counterexample. General William T. Sherman. You see, in a world where pretty much everyone is clawing their way to the top, Sherman was a guy who consistently and on purpose turned power down.
Sherman's career was not some overnight success story. Not at all. It was a slow, steady grind. He spent years just learning his craft. I mean, he actually asked President Lincoln not to give him a huge command because he didn't feel like he was ready for it. And later, he deferred to General Grant even when he technically had seniority. The point is, his confidence didn't come from just telling himself he was great. It was earned step by painful step through real achievement.
And this quote from his biographer just nails it. It perfectly frames the choice that every single one of us has. Are you going to be the person whose belief in yourself is just an assumption? Or are you going to be the person whose belief is a slow, solid growth that's rooted in actual work and real accomplishment?
And that leads us to this huge, central dilemma of aspiration, which was framed perfectly by this legendary fighter pilot and strategist named John Boyd. And it's a choice that all of us face, whether we even realize it or not.
So Boyd would sit his students down and give them this fork-in-the-road speech. He'd say, look, you can choose to be somebody. That means you chase the fancy titles, the promotions, the status. It's the path where you have to make compromises. Or you can choose to do something, to focus on the actual mission, the work itself, the impact you're having. Now that path might not bring you a ton of glory, but it lets you stay true to your purpose.
And this just shows so brilliantly how ego corrupts us. It takes the things that really matter, like duty and honor, and it just crosses them out, replacing them with selfish junk like pride and power. That choice between to be and to do is really a choice between your purpose and your ego.
Okay, so we've met the enemy, we know what it is. Now the big question, how do we fight it? Well, the cure is actually a practical toolkit, and it's all grounded in two really important virtues, humility and hard work.
The book gives us 3 really powerful strategies to keep that ego in check, especially when we're just starting out and aspiring to do something great. So let's break these down one by one.
First up, always stay a student. And the example for this is just amazing. Kirk Hammett. He lands his absolute dream job as the lead guitarist for Metallica, right? A band that's about to be the biggest thing in the world. So what's the first thing he does? He immediately goes out and finds a guitar teacher. Why? Because he had the humility to know he wasn't good enough yet. Even at the top, he knew he had more to learn. That's the mindset.
Second strategy, focus on the work, not on talking about the work. The perfect cautionary tale here is the author Upton Sinclair. Get this, he wrote a whole book about what an amazing governor he was going to be before he was even elected. The book was a huge bestseller, but the campaign, a total disaster. And the reason is fascinating. Talking about doing something can actually trick your brain. It gives you a little hit of dopamine and makes you feel like you've already accomplished it, which just drains the energy you need for the actual hard work.
And number 3 is called the canvas strategy. Now this one is a little counterintuitive. The idea is, instead of constantly trying to promote yourself, you should find ways to help other people succeed. Clear the path for them. A perfect example is Bill Belichick. He mastered the absolute grunt work that no other coach wanted to do, analyzing endless hours of film. By making his bosses look good, he learned an insane amount, he built this incredible reputation, and ultimately, he created his own path to becoming one of the greatest coaches of all time.
And now for maybe the most powerful example of all, the ultimate story of putting purpose way above ego. We're talking about Jackie Robinson. When the general manager Branch Rickey was searching for the right person to break baseball's color barrier, this is what he told him. He wasn't looking for just the best player. He was looking for the person with the strongest character.
Think about it. Robinson had to endure this unimaginable, horrible abuse. Taunts, threats, everything. Every single instinct, every fiber of his being must have been screaming at him to fight back. But he didn't. He chose restraint. He had to subdue his own personal pride, his own righteous anger, for a purpose that was just so much bigger than himself, integrating a sport and pushing a whole nation one step forward.
And that really just leaves us with one final question. You know, the stories of Sherman and Boyd and Kirk Hammett, and especially Jackie Robinson, they all show us the same thing. True strength isn't about feeding your ego, it's about mastering it. We've all heard the saying, right? Pride comes before the fall. The only real question left is, will you let it be yours?